Vijamani Gora Manitage Vakata Samohaloe Lasate Jela Nagara Praje Vakata Samohaloe Lasate Jela Nagara Praje Katai Katai Bhajalako Gana Gana Tahe Janjero Tatai Tatai Bhajalako Gana Gana Tahe Janjero Prime Dalla Dalla Sonara Anga Charane no pura bhaje Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari Bole na bolore bandhana bori Michini Jabase Telore Rati Divasa Sharira Sahaje Michini Jabase Telore Rati Divasa Sharira Sahaje Hemana Durlabha Manava Deho Paya ki koro bhavana keho Ebena pajile yashoda sutta Charane pori belaje Ebena pajile Oti tatapana hoile asta Dina jelo boile hoi baby asta Kabe keno ebe alasa hoi No bhajare dhaya raje Kabe keno ebe alasa hoi No bhajare dhaya raje Jivana anitya jana hasa Kahe nana vida vipadabha Jivana nitya jana Kahe nana vida vipadabha Namashraya koriyatani tumi Taka apanakaje Namashraya Jivera kalyana sadhana kam Jagati asiye madhuranam Avidyati miratapana rupe Rigagane virate
Avidyati miratapana rupe Rigagane virate
Krishna nam Sudakori Hapan Yuro Bhakati Vinoda Pran Nama bina kichu nahi kwara Choda bhuvana mahaje Jeev jago Gaura chanda bhole Kota nidra jayo maya Pishachira kohole Vaji bhavaliya ese samsara bitahare Bhuliya rahile tumi avidyara bhare Enichiyo shadi maya nashi bharalagi Tomare loete ami haino avatara Ami bina bandhu ar Keya cheto mahara Enichiyo shadi maya Nashi bharalagi Harinama maha mantra lo tumi mahagi Bhakati vinoda prabhu charane padheya Se harinama mantra loilo magiha Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Sarasatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam
Tato Jayamudirayat
Tato Jaya Buddhiraye
Nasta Praeshu Abhadreshu
Nasapareshu Adadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttamaśloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistikin.
Bhakti Bhavati Naistiti.
We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter number 27, text number 13.
今日閱讀四點國家雅談第11篇第27章嘅第13詩節。
Kala Chaleti
Kala Chaleti
Dvivida
Dvivida
Pratishta
Pratishta
Jiva Mandiram
Jivamandiram
Udva Savahane
Udva Savahane
Nasta
Nasta
Stirayam
Stirayam
Udavarchane
Udavachane
Chala Chalati Dvividha
Chala Chalati Dvivida
Pratishta Jiva Mandiram
Pratishta Jivamandiram
Udva Savahane Nasta
Udva Savatane Nasta
Stirayam Udavarchane
Stirayam Udavarchane
Chala Chalati Dvividha
Chala Chalati Dvivida
Pratishta Jiva Mandiram
Pratishta Jivamandiram
Udva Savahane Nasta
Udva Savatane
Stirayam Udavarchane
Stirayam Udavarchane
Chala Chalati Dvividha
Chala Chalati Dvivida
Pratishta Jiva Mandiram
Pratishta Jivamandiram
Udva Savahane Nasta
Udva Savahane Nasta
Stirayam Udavarchane
Stirayam Udavarchane Chala Chalati Dvivida
Chala Chalati Dvividha
Pratishta Jivamandiram
Chatista Jiva Mandiram
Udva Savahane Nasta
Udva Savahane Nasta
Stirayam Udavarchane
Stirayam Udavarchane Chala Chalati Dvividha Pratishta Jiva Mandiram Udva Savahane Nasta Sthirayam Udavarchane. Chala Chalati Dvividha. Pratishta Jiva Mandiram. Udva Savahane Nasta. Sthirayam Udavarchane. Word meanings. Chala,
Chala
movable.
movable 動的
Achala,
Achala
immovable.
immovable 不動的
Iti,
Iti
thus.
thus 如此
Dvivida,
Dvivida
of two varieties.
of two varieties 兩類
Pratishta,
Pratishta
the installation.
the installation 設立
Jiva Mandiram,
Jiva Mandiram
of the deity,
of the deities
who
神
is,
像
who is the shelter of all living entities.
For is the shelter of all living entity 神像眾生的庇護所
Udvasa,
Udvasa
sending away.
sending away 請走
Avahane,
Avahane
and calling forth.
calling forth 請來
Nasta,
Nasta
are not done.
are not done 不做
Sthirayam,
Sirayam
oh, just a minute. Lost the place. Sthirayam. Okay, Sthirayam. For the permanently established deity.
for the permanently established deity 對永久設立的神像
Uddhava,
Uddhava
my dear Uddhava.
My dear Uddhava 我親愛的 Uddhava
Archane,
Archane
in his worship.
in his worship 崇拜他
Translation. The deity form of the Lord, who is the shelter of all living entities, can be established in two ways, temporarily or permanently. But a permanent deity, having been called, can never be sent away, my dear Uddhava.
譯文主眾生的庇護所，他的神像形體可以被確立為兩種，臨時的和永久性的。但是我親愛的 Uddhava 已被稱為永久性的神像，永遠不能被搬走、撤走。
Purport. The devotees of the Lord understand themselves to be the Lord's eternal servitors, recognizing the deity to be the Lord himself. They permanently install the deity and engage in perpetual worship. The impersonalists, however, regard the eternal form of the Lord as a temporary manifestation of illusion. In fact, they regard the deity form as a mere stepping stone in their ambitious program to become God. Materialistic persons of whatever stripe consider the Lord to be their order supplier, and so they make temporary arrangements for religious ceremonies to achieve temporary material sense gratification. This temporary mode of worship is favored by those desiring to exploit the personality of Godhead for their personal ends. Whereas the loving devotees in Krishna consciousness eternally engage in worship of the personality of Godhead. They install permanent deities meant to be worshipped perpetually.
要自主的奉獻者明白自己是主的永恆僕人，一致認可神像就是主本人。他們設立永久性的神像，予以崇拜。然而，非人格主義者卻認為主的永恆形體是短暫幻象的展示。實際上，他們把神像視為他們逐漸實踐成為神這一野心的踏腳石。各行各業的物質主義者認為主是他們的供應商，所以他們臨時安排宗教儀式，以獲取短暫的物質感官享樂。這種臨時的崇拜形式受到那些為了一己的私欲而開發利用人格守神之人的青睞，而處在 Krishna 之國中的親愛的奉獻者，恆常地崇拜人格守神。他們安置永久性的神像，為的是永久地崇拜他們。
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamscha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Korange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So Lord Krishna is explaining the process of deity worship to Uddhava.
主 Krishna 咧就向 Uddhava 咧講述有關於崇拜嘅程序。
So we hear today that some people establish deities temporarily, whereas others will establish the deity eternally.
咁喺呢度係有講到咧，有啲人係設立啲神像崇拜咧係短暫性嘅，有啲咧係永久性嘅。
People who want temporary benefits will just establish the deity temporarily.
有啲人咧，佢哋想去得到一啲短暫嘅好處啦，咁佢哋咧就會設立一啲臨時嘅神像。
They put the deity, but actually the real purpose is to get something from the deity. They're doing business with the deity.
佢哋咧係確立神像啦，就因為佢哋想從神像裏邊咧得到好處咧，就好似一個生意交易咁樣。
Their mood is, I'm giving this, I'm offering this to the Lord, He should give me what I want.
佢哋咧認為我咧就係供奉一啲神像俾佢咧，供奉俾神像嘅時候咧，咁神像應該咧係要給予佢哋一啲嘅回報。
So this is the mood of materialistic people, people with material desires.
咁呢啲咧就係物質主義者嘅心緒咧，同埋佢哋咧係有物質嘅慾望嘅。
Now people with material desires, they can also worship the Lord. They can also worship Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu.
咁咧有啲物質主義嘅物質主義者咧，佢哋可以咧崇拜 Krishna 啦，同埋係 Vishnu 嘅。
In the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, Sukadeva Goswami is describing how there are many different demigods who you can worship for material desires.
咁喺聖典莫加亞談嘅第二篇咧，Sukadeva Goswami 咧係解釋到咧點樣咧係去神像係向崇拜神像咧係得到物質嘅好處。
But then he says, Akama sarvakamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Then Lord Sukadeva Goswami says to Maharaj Parikshit that of all kinds of worship, if you have material, whether you have all material desires or no material desires, or you desire liberation, still you should worship Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna, the Supreme.
無論咧你係去想係得到任何嘅回報啦，咁但係最終咧你要去崇拜主 Vishnu 嘅。
We want to get some material benefit. You can also worship Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. They can also give you material benefit, but they will consider first of all if this is actually good for you.
咁但係咧，如果你想係從 Krishna 或者 Vishnu 咧得到一啲嘅物質好處咧，佢哋咧係會俾你。咁但係咧，你哋要去明白到咧，你哋應該要去做啲嘅咩嘅崇拜。
They will consider, is this really going to help this person or is this going to put him in more illusion?
咁佢哋神像咧就會去認為啦，呢啲嘅物質主義者咧，如果佢想得到嘅物質嘅好處咧，呢啲對佢嚟講咧係有好處啊，定係壞處咧？
So before the Lord fulfills the desires of these people, He will first of all consider if it's actually good for them.
咁咧神像咧係會即係考慮到咧給予呢啲人嘅好處咧，佢哋會考慮到佢哋最終嘅好處嘅。
And of course, people are often impatient to get what they want, and their material desires. They want their material desires to be fulfilled immediately.
咁有啲人咧，佢哋係希望得到一啲嘅即係佢哋嘅物質慾望咧，能夠快脆啲達成。但係有啲咧，有時候咧，佢哋好耐等咗好耐咧，都未有得到喎。
And to have their desires fulfilled immediately, they will worship demigods because the demigods are quickly pleased.
因為佢哋好想好快咁得到呢個嘅物質嘅慾望嘅回報啦，咁因此咧，佢哋係崇拜半神人啦。
But when we get one desire fulfilled, then we have another desire. There's no end to material desires.
咁對於物質嘅慾望嚟講咧，你係完成咗一個之後咧，就係又會有另外一個嘅物質慾望嘅喎，係永遠冇停止嘅。
So that's the problem with material desires. That it's not just one desire, but there's an endless number of desires.
咁物質慾望咧就係有一個嘅問題啦，就係話一旦你有物質慾望嘅時候咧，你係會毫無止境咁樣咧，係希望第二個慾望嘅。
So thoughtful people will consider how to finish all these desires, how to go beyond all these desires.
咁要講俾人聽咧，係點樣去咧係超越呢啲物質嘅慾望咧？
So we find in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, it describes about the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
咁喺博伽亞談嘅第11篇咧，係講述有關於主彩坦爺嘅顯現啊。
Maharaj Nimi had inquired from one of the 9 Yogendras about the Lord's incarnations in different ages.
咁國王 Nimi 咧去問 合有關於嗰啲嘅聖節咧，神像嘅崇拜同埋顯現嘅化身。
So at that time, Karabhajana Muni, one of the 9 Yogendras, he was describing about how the Lord comes in the Kali Yuga to perform Sankirtan.
其中一位聖節咧就回答佢嘅問題咧，就係話主咧係點樣係嚟臨咧，係去顯現佢嘅自己。
And he says there, Krishna Varnam Tavisha Akrishnam Sangha Pangrista Parshadam Yagnaye Sankirtan Prae Yajantihi Sumedasaha. He says that the Lord will come in the Kali Yuga, but he's not blackish. He's Krishna, but he's not blackish.
咁主菜呢個喺聖典報嗰個談裏面講到咧，主菜坦夜咧係會Krishna 咧就係會以一個嘅化身嚟臨啦，但係佢唔係咧係好似 Krishna 咁樣係黑色嘅，而係第二種顏色黃色。
But he's coming along with all of his associates and paraphernalia, and he's performing the Sankirtan.
當佢咧係舉行呢個山基壇嘅運動時候咧，佢會帶同佢嘅同友啦，同埋佢嘅一切嘅物品嘅。
And those people who are blessed with purified intelligence, they will also join in the Sankirtan.
對於一啲人咧，佢哋嘅智慧咧係被淨化嘅時候咧，嗰啲人咧就會去加入呢個山基壇嘅運動㗎。
It is said, Yajantihi Sumedasaha. Sumedasaha. Medasaha means intelligent, and Sumedasaha means purified. So people who have a good brain, they will join the Sankirtan.
當佢哋嘅智慧咧係被淨化嘅時候咧，佢哋咧就會能夠有能力咧係去參加呢個 Sankirtan 運動。
And those people who don't have a good brain, they will worship other gods.
對於一啲人嚟講咧，佢哋冇一啲嘅清澈嘅頭腦嘅時候咧，佢哋係會崇拜半神人。
As described in the Bhagavad Gita, Antavat tufalam tesham tadbhavati aupa medasam. So in Bhagavatam it was speaking Sumedasaha, people with a good brain. And in the Bhagavad Gita, when it's speaking about demigod worship, it said Aupa Medasaha, small brain.
喺聖典報加亞談裏面有講到咧，如果係去崇拜 Krishna 咧，佢哋嘅智慧啊係被淨化嘅時候咧，佢哋係會崇拜 Krishna 嘅。但係喺博家梵歌裏邊有講述到啊，一啲去崇拜半神人嘅人咧，佢哋嘅頭腦咧係好細小嘅啫。
So people with poor brain, with a small brain, poor brain substance, they have no good brain. They will simply worship demigods and they will worship other gods just to get material desires.
對於一啲咧係頭腦比較冇咁清醒嘅人或者係細小嘅人咧，佢哋係會崇拜半神人咧，希望得到物質嘅好處。
But one who is a devotee who is engaged in devotional service, then he's finished with material desires.
當一個奉獻者咧係去做奉獻服務嘅時候咧，佢哋嘅物質慾望咧就係會消失㗎。
He's already tried to fulfill material desires.
佢已經咧係嘗試過去實現佢嘅物質慾望啦。
And he's not had any success, even despite many endeavors to satisfy his material. He was never successful.
但係嗰啲奉獻者咧，發覺佢哋咧係做好多好大嘅努力咧，係想得到物質嘅好處，但係咧係得唔到喎。
So in that way, they will take up Krishna consciousness. They will join the Sankirtan movement. They will worship the Supreme Lord.
因此咧，佢哋係去放棄呢個物質嘅慾望咧，係去崇拜至尊主咧。
So the impersonalists, they are saying this world is unreal. Only the Brahman is true.
係呢個非人格主義者咧，佢哋認為呢個世界咧係幻象嚟㗎。
So the impersonalists, they also have put the deity. They also put Radha and Krishna.
非人格主義咧，佢哋係亦都去崇拜咧Radha 同 Krishna 嘅。
You can find many temples, and they'll have Radha and Krishna there. and say, yeah, we also have Radha and Krishna here in our temple.
咁佢哋就話啦，我哋嘅廟裏邊咧都有 Radha 同埋 Krishna 嘅神像嚟㗎。
And they say, we also chant Hare Krishna mantra.
我哋都會唱頌 Hare Krishna mantra，
And we also read Bhagavad Gita.
我哋都閱讀聖典薄伽梵歌。
But their mood is to become one.
但係佢哋嘅心緒咧，就係想同神像合而為一。
Their goal is Sayujya Mukti, merging into the impersonal oneness.
佢哋嘅唯一嘅目標咧，就係去融入至尊主嘅一元性。
So they worship the deity, but they're thinking ultimately we will become one with the deity. We will all go into that oneness, the Brahman.
佢哋咧亦都係崇拜至尊主，但係佢哋嘅慾望咧，就係想去融入至尊主嘅梵嘅當中。
Yeah, the Brahman, the impersonal oneness, where there is no variety.
喺呢個梵嘅當中咧，佢哋咧係與梵為合一咧，就係冇多元性嘅。
There's no interaction between the different living entities.
對於每一個嘅唔同嘅生物體咧，佢哋係冇交流嘅。
There are no relationships.
咁佢哋咧係有一種咧係不明嘅關係嘅，
There's only the oneness.
只係得一。
And they're thinking that is perfection.
佢哋認為咧咁就為之完美啦。
And the impersonalists, they give examples about this. They talk about just like the rivers flow into the ocean and become one with the ocean.
佢哋會比喻咧就係話好似一個小嘅河流咁樣咧，佢哋呢啲水咧係流入呢個大嘅海洋當中嘅時候咧，佢哋就會同大嘅海洋咧合而為一啦。
Or they talk about the air in the pot. And you break the pot, and then the air from the pot becomes one with the air.
就好似佢哋亦都作另外一個比喻咧，就話一個樽裏邊咧係有空氣啦，咁將呢個空氣咧係放咗出嚟嘅時候咧，呢啲空氣就同呢個大嘅空間咧合而為一。
So we say these are not very good examples. These analogies are no good.
我哋認為咧呢個比喻咧係唔恰當嘅。
Because they're talking about things which are inert, which have no individuality, which have no consciousness.
佢哋認為咧係呢個體系咧係靜止嘅，冇呢個多元性嘅。
The water merging with the ocean, or the air merging with the sky. There's no life there. It's just matter.
佢哋咧認為咧，空氣就係同呢個天空合而為一啦，水咧同呢個海洋嘅水合而為一啦。咁佢哋認為咧係咁係冇生命咁樣嘅。
We give the example that the fish are there in the river and they may swim into the sea, but they keep their individuality when they go into the ocean.
我哋咧會比喻一條魚咧，佢係進入呢個海洋嘅時候咧，佢咧喺呢個海洋裏邊咧，仍然咧係有一元，即係有獨立性嘅存在嘅。
They don't merge with the ocean, become one with the ocean. The fish keep their individuality and they go deep into the ocean.
嗰條魚咧唔會咧同海洋咧合而為一，咁佢哋咧喺呢個海洋裏邊咧游來游去一齊有活動嘅。
And we give examples about the green birds, just like in Vrindavan, there are many green parrots.
就好似
And you can see the parrots go into the tree.
我哋咧會作另外一個比喻咧，就係一啲嘅綠色嘅雀仔咧，咁佢哋咧喺 Vrindavan 裏邊咧都有好多綠嘅樹，咁當呢啲雀仔飛入去樹林嘅時候咧，
So the parrots fly into the tree. Do they become one with the tree?
咁呢啲雀仔呢啲鸚鵡啊，佢哋飛入呢個樹林嘅樹上面嘅時候咧，佢哋會唔會咧成為樹本身咧？
It appears like the parrots have merged with the tree. You think, oh, they're in the tree, they've become one with the tree. But if you make some sound, you shake the tree, the birds will all fly out. You'll see the birds are still there. They're in the tree.
呢個綠色嘅鸚鵡咧，係飛到喺一個綠色嘅樹上面嘅時候咧，咁你以為咧呢個鸚鵡咧係同呢個樹合而為一咧，但係當你搖下呢個樹嘅時候咧，嗰隻雀仔咧立刻咧係飛走啊！咁佢咧就係有佢嘅獨立性喺度嘅。
So we argue against these impersonalist concepts of the idea of merging and losing our individuality.
我哋咧會去講呢個嘅非人格主義者咧，去爭論啊，有關於進入一個一元性嘅位置嘅情況。
And we quote also scriptures, the scriptural verses also to support our arguments.
喺呢個經典裏邊嘅詩節咧，亦都係支持我哋嘅論點㗎。
There's a verse, and Aurora Krichrena Param Padam Tata Patanti Ado Nadrita Yasmad Angraya. That people who think they're liberated is actually due to their impure intelligence.
一啲人咧，佢認為佢哋係得到解脫嘅時候咧，其實咧佢哋係有一啲嘅並不完美嘅智慧存在。
Vimuktamaninas Tvayasta Bhava Avishuddha Buddhaya. Their intelligence is not purified, it's still contaminated.
因為佢哋嘅智慧咧，仲未得到淨化嘅時候咧，佢哋係被污染緊嘅。
Because they've merged, they've entered into this oneness, but they cannot remain in that condition.
但係咧，佢哋認為佢哋係融入一個一當中，但係呢個狀況咧係唔能夠持久嘅。
And they fall back to the material world.
佢哋會再次墮入呢個物質世界裏邊。
So they are worshipping deity, but their worship is very different from our worship.
佢哋所崇拜嘅神像嘅方法咧，同我哋崇拜神像嘅方法係唔同㗎。
Just like one devotee was telling, they were reading Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada, that time Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita had not been published, and they were using some impersonalist Bhagavad Gita.
咁有一次咧，就係因為聖巴寶巴去講課嘅時候咧，就冇國家梵歌喺佢身邊啦。咁佢哋其他嘅人咧，就攞咗一本咧係非人格嘅國家梵歌。
So they read the verse, they read the Sanskrit verse and everything, and gave the translation. And they said, oh, this is just the same as the impersonalists. The impersonalists also say like that.
咁佢哋咧就讀咗呢本書咧，就讀咗個譯文啦，佢嘅梵文啦，係同我哋所講嘅呢啲非人格主義者所寫嘅書係同我哋一樣嘅喎。
So Prabhupada said, yes. He said, verse may be the same, but the difference is the purport. The Vaishnava purport will be different from the impersonalist purport.
聖巴寶巴就話啦，係啦，佢哋嘅詩節咧，同埋譯文咧係一樣，但係佢哋唔同嘅地方咧，就係嘅要旨啊，同 Vaishnava 嘅要旨同埋佢嘅非人格主義嘅要旨咧係唔同㗎。
So the same way with deities, the impersonal, they may all have deity, they have Radha Krishna, they're worshipping Krishna, but their mood is different from devotee.
同樣咧。非人格主義者咧，佢哋亦都係有崇拜神像嘅，咁但係佢哋崇拜嘅方法咧，同埋心緒咧，係同 Vaishnava 嘅人去崇拜神像咧係唔同㗎。
The mood of the devotee in worshipping the deity is that they will worship the deity eternally. They will worship Krishna eternally.
奉獻者咧，佢哋崇拜神像嘅心緒咧，就係持着持久嘅心態去崇拜嘅。
The Mayavadi, he's worshipping Krishna to become Krishna. He's thinking, I'm worshiping just now, but one day I'll become Krishna. I won't need to worship.
Mayavadi 咧假象中咧，佢哋崇拜神像嘅時候，最終咧希望咧係同神像咧合而為一。
Because we'll become one. So in the oneness, there's no worship.
咁當佢哋咧係合而為一嘅時候咧，就唔需要再崇拜啦。
But for the devotee, service to the deity, service to Krishna is eternal.
但對於奉獻者嚟講咧，對 Krishna 嘅服務咧係永恆嘅。
We serve Krishna here, we chant Hare Krishna, and if we go back to Godhead, we'll also chant Hare Krishna and serve Krishna.
我哋喺啲樹咧係唱頌 Hare Krishna 咧，係崇拜神像咧；回到咧靈性世界咧，亦都係唱頌 Hare Krishna 咧，同埋崇拜神像啊。
The worship of Krishna is eternal.
對 Krishna 嘅崇拜咧係永恆嘅。
It's not that we just worship Krishna to become Krishna, but we worship that our eternal position is to be the servant.
我哋咧係崇拜 Krishna 咧係並不是咧係希望成為 Krishna， 而係咧永遠咧係希望成為 Krishna 嘅永恆僕人。
Lord Chaitanya said, Jiver Swarupahaya Nitya Krishna Dasa. Nitya, eternally the servant of Krishna.
主宰坦爺咧稱為就係講述啊，要崇拜 Krishna 嘅時候咧，係永遠咧係成為 Krishna 嘅永恆僕人。
The constitutional constitution, just like there's a constitution for the government. So the constitution, the basic laws behind the government. So that the same way, the constitutional position of all living entities, a position which is eternal, which does not change.
我哋咧係構成性嘅永恆嘅地位咧，就係 Krishna 嘅僕人咧，係永遠不能會改變嘅。
So we want to understand our eternal connection with the Lord through devotional service.
我哋透過奉獻服務咧，係去了解神像啊。
So the impersonalists and Mayavada people, they put the deity there, but they're thinking it's just temporary, because ultimately they'll become when they become liberated, then they won't need to worship. They'll become the deity themselves.
非人格主義咧，同埋假象中人士咧，佢哋係去崇拜神像咧，但係最終咧，佢哋希望咧成為 Krishna 本人嘅。
So everything depends on the attitude.
每一件事咧，都係要視乎個態度啊。
You want to worship Krishna, it's very good, but you have to have the mood that I am the servant and I'm eternally the servant.
去崇拜 Krishna 咧係非常之好嘅，但係我哋要去明白一個心態，就係我哋永遠咧都係 Krishna 嘅僕人。
And Lord Chaitanya says in the Shikshastikam, he doesn't have any desire for wealth or fame or followers. He only wants devotional service, birth after birth.
主宰坦爺咧喺八分區裏邊有講述到咧，佢話佢唔希望有財富啦、名譽咧或者明星咧，佢只係咧係一生復一生咧成為 Krishna 嘅僕人。
So birth after birth, he doesn't even have any desire for liberation.
佢哋咧係主宰坦爺咧又講述冇任何咧嘅慾望咧，希望得到解脫，只係每一生咧都係成為 Krishna 嘅僕人。
Because the devotee is experiencing so much pleasure in service to Krishna.
因為奉獻者咧係去服務 Krishna 嘅時候咧，佢哋感受到好多嘅喜樂啊。
So he doesn't want liberation. It's not important for him.
對於解脫嚟講咧，佢哋並不喜歡啦，亦都係唔想追求。
So for a devotee can have liberation anytime.
對於奉獻者嚟講咧，佢哋係任何時候咧得到解脫嘅。
But if he's engaged in devotional service, he's already experiencing so much more pleasure than liberation.
但係咧，對於去做緊奉獻服務嘅時候咧，佢哋所得到嘅喜樂咧係多過解脫嘅。
We get the greatest pleasure in being the servant.
我哋作為咧一個僕人嘅時候咧，得到更多嘅喜樂。
We get pleasure in dressing the deities.
我哋咧係向神像穿衣嘅時候咧，係得到喜樂啦。
And we get pleasure in cooking for Krishna and offering the foodstuffs to the deities and distributing the prasadam.
我哋咧係為神像煮食啦，同埋係供奉食物俾神像啦，同埋咧係將呢啲食物咧係派發俾別人嘅時候咧，我哋所得到嘅喜樂係好多㗎。
So there's so much pleasure, the nectar is there in service.
喺服務當中咧，我哋咧係得到好多嘅喜樂嘅甘露啊！
We have a common saying in English, they say, it's better to give than to receive.
喺英文嚟講咧，就係有一句説話係話給予別人咧係嘅喜樂咧係多過咧係向別人咧得到好處。
So a devotee's business is to give everything to Krishna.
喺奉獻者嚟講咧，佢哋嘅主要嘅做嘅嘢咧，就係給予別人一啲嘢。
Prabhupada said, I did not come here to take from you, I came to give. I've come to give you what you have forgotten.
Prabhupada 喺西方嗰度咧係講到咧係話，我嚟到呢個你哋嘅國家咧，唔係去取事物嘅。我嚟嘅時候咧係給予東西俾你哋啊。
So we want to have that same mood as Prabhupada, to give Krishna consciousness, to give the message of Krishna, to give the holy name of Krishna.
我哋咧要好似聖巴布巴咁咧，係給予別人咧係一啲嘅超然嘅知識啦、Krishna 知覺啦，同埋係其他好嘅嘢。
And to awaken people out of their illusion that there's happiness here in this material world.
咁對於一啲人嚟講咧，係給予佢哋一啲嘅醒覺咧，係喺呢個物質世界咧係給予好處俾佢哋。
There's the glitter, the illusion of happiness. It's all very temporary.
喺呢個西方國家裏邊咧，個人物質主義嘅人咧，佢哋想得到嘅嘢咧都係短暫嘅。
But the happiness here in this material world is insignificant compared to the happiness of devotional service.
喺物質主義呢個世界裏邊咧，所得到嘅快樂咧係好難咧係同對主作出奉獻服務嗰個快樂咧係相比嘅。
So Krishna is inviting all of us to enjoy eternal happiness.
所以 Krishna 咧係邀請我哋咧係去享受永恆嘅快樂。
And we get a taste of that happiness here in this world by devotional service.
喺呢個物質世界裏邊咧，係透過奉獻服務咧係得到快樂。
Devotional service is Sanatana Dharma, eternal religion.
奉獻服務咧就係永恆嘅宗教啊！
Srimad Bhagavatam is presenting Sanatan Dharma and it is rejecting Kaitava Dharma, cheating religion.
聖典博果雅壇咧係推崇永恆嘅宗教咧，係反對咧欺騙嘅宗教。
People practice religion today, but they practice for their material benefit.
喺現代人嚟講咧，佢哋係收集一啲嘅宗教嘅，咁但係佢哋咧係希望得到物質嘅好處。
It is like the man may say to the woman may say to the man, I love you, but she's thinking, where's the money?
咁喺現代人嚟講咧，係女士向男士講咧，我好愛你，我好愛你，但係錢喺邊啊？
So that is not pure love.
咁呢啲咧並不是純粹嘅愛啦。
The mood of devotional service is to give pure love to Krishna.
奉獻服務咧就係給予 Krishna 純粹嘅愛啊！
To give without expecting anything in return.
給予呢個愛咧係唔會希望有任何嘅回報。
Okay, any question?
有冇問題咧？
Yes?
Is there a big difference between spirituality and religion?
Well, religion today is what I call that Kaitava Dharma, cheating religion.
喺當今嘅宗教嚟講咧，係一啲欺騙嘅宗教。
People may have some religion, but it's just for some fulfilling their material desires.
有人咧係希望咧係得到宗教，但係佢哋希望得到物質嘅回報。
So that's not really spiritual.
咁呢啲咧並不是靈性嘅。
And sometimes people think of religion as just something what they're born into. No, somebody's born a Hindu, somebody's born a Christian. They're thinking that that's my religion. They never practice anything, but they say, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Christian.
對於一啲人嚟講咧，佢哋出身自一啲嘅宗教家庭咧，或者係印度教啊、基督教啊、天主教，咁佢哋咧係從來唔會去實習或者係靈修嘅。咁但係咧，佢哋稱自己為天主教啦、基督教啦、印度教。
So that's not spiritual.
咁呢啲並不是靈性嘅。
It doesn't make you spiritual just to say I'm a Hindu or I'm a Christian. That's nothing to do with spirituality.
佢哋咧自稱自己係基督教啊、回教啊、天主教啊，任何都好啦。咁但係佢哋並不是冇修習啦。咁所以呢啲係並不是係靈性嘅。
Spirituality is based on understanding connection with the eternal spirit, with the eternal realm, the spiritual realm.
係宗教嚟講，真正嘅宗教咧就係要去了解到咧靈性嘅角度係裏邊係點嘅咧。
Just like the Atman, the soul in the body, that is spirit. The body is not spiritual, but the soul is spirit.
就好似靈魂咧喺我哋嘅身體裏邊啦，咁我哋嘅身體咧並不是靈性嘅，而靈魂咧就係靈性嘅。
And that soul is a part of the Supreme Lord.
靈魂咧就係至尊主嘅一部分啦。
The Supreme Lord, He is the full, complete spirit.
至尊主咧佢係完整嘅靈性嘅。
And we are tiny sparks coming from that fire.
我哋只不過咧係從呢個火裏邊嘅一小嘅火點嚟嘅啫。
So we have a relationship with the Supreme Spirit.
我哋因此係有同至尊靈魂咧係有關係嘅。
Just like the hand is a part of the body.
就好似手咧就係身體嘅一部分啦。
We use the hand to serve the body.
我哋用我哋嘅手咧去服務我哋嘅
So
身
the
體。
same way, we are meant to serve the Supreme Spirit.
咁因此咧，我哋亦都係同一個方式咧，係去服務至尊主嘅。
So actual religion is to understand I am the servant of God.
真正嘅宗教咧，就係要知道自己咧係至尊主嘅僕人。
But people think God is there just simply to serve them.
但係其他人咧就係認為神咧應該要服務我哋嘅。
And they pray to God. They will tell God what they want. Give me a nice wife. Give me a home. Give me money. I'll buy the sea.
佢哋咧向神像咧係祈禱啊，希望咧給予我一個妻子咧，一個好嘅屋企啦，同埋好多好嘅嘢。
When there was war, the people were all praying in Germany. All the ladies, they were all praying to God. Send my husband back after the war.
有好多喺打仗嘅時候咧，嗰啲婦女咧就向神咧祈禱啊！神啊，你快啲俾翻個丈夫我啦！
And when the husband didn't come back, then they don't believe in God anymore.
咁但係佢哋嘅丈夫冇回來嘅時候咧，佢哋就會責備神啦。
He didn't give me my prayers. I asked him send my husband back. He didn't let my husband come back.
我向你祈禱係得到我嘅丈夫翻嚟，但係冇喎。
I don't believe in God anymore.
我唔再去信你啦。
So like that, people, that's what religion is about today.
咁又係現今嘅宗教咧，就係咁嘅。
It's not spiritual.
就係不是靈性嘅。
Spirituality is to understand the eternal self.
就宗教真正嘅宗教咧，就係要明白我哋嘅真正自我。
The living force in the body.
就係喺我哋身體裏邊嘅生命氣。
Okay, Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.